Well, I'm pretty sure the McCarthy and Biden debt ceiling bill is going to get passed. I think it got passed by the House and the Senate. I think Biden needs to do final approval if he hasn't already. And this is what is included on this debt ceiling bill and how this will affect all of us in America. So there's going to be a 2-year debt limit suspension spending limit. The agreement would keep non-defense spending roughly flat in the 2024 fiscal year, increase by 1% of the following year till January 2025. For the next fiscal year, the bill matches Biden's proposed defense budget of $886 billion. So, cuts, there's going to be a spending limit, pretty standard stuff, nothing too crazy. Care for military veterans. The agreement will fully fund medical care for veterans at the levels included in Biden's proposed 2024 budget blueprint, including a fund dedicated to veterans who have been exposed to toxic substances or environmental hazards. Biden sought $20.3 billion for the toxic exposure fund in his budget. Well, good. I think we should definitely always help the veterans in the military. I think this is good. So for the most part, I'm not mad at the first two things. Pretty standard in my personal opinion. Cuts, a limit, basically allocate the resources in a more efficient manner. Unspent money from COVID-19 pandemic, agreement will rescind about $30 billion unspent coronavirus relief, money that Congress approved through previous bills, and legislation protects pandemic funding for veterans, medical care, housing assistance. So it's going to rescind a lot of the money that it, kind of put out, barring some exceptions. I'm not mad at this either. They got $30 billion that they didn't spend. Put that in a more appropriate location. Funding for the IRS. Republicans targeted money that the federal tax agency was allotted last year to crack down on tax fraud. The bill bites into some IRS funding, rescinding $1.4 billion. Taking away money from the IRS, I guess I'm not too mad, taxes, all that good stuff. Work for benefit requirement. This agreement would honestly, for the first four things, I'm not bad. I'm mad at it. Work for benefits requirement. The agreement would expand work requirements attached to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps, a long-time Republican priority, but the changes are pared down from a hardline debt ceiling bill previously generated. So group expand work requirements. So the work requirements to achieve food stamps have increased, giving more incentive to make sure you're working. Work requirements already exist for most able-bodied adults between the ages of 18 and 49. Higher age limits, bringing it to 54 by 2025. Provision expires, bringing the maximum age back down to age 49 in 2030. Very interesting. Expanded benefits for veterans, homeless people, young people aging out of foster care. Makes sense. Not bad. Not bad. 5 for 5, I would say. Energy projects. The deal puts in place changes in the National Environment Policy Act for the first time in nearly 4 decades that would designate a single lead agency to develop and schedule environmental reviews in hopes of streamlining the process for approval of energy projects. Gives special treatment to the controversial Mountain Valley Pipeline, a West Virginia natural energy gas pipeline championed by pivotal Democratic senator. Okay. Energy projects being more efficient. Not mad at that. Student loans. This is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. This is a big one. Republicans have long sought to reel back Biden's temporary relief on student loans during the coronavirus pandemic. Biden has agreed that the pause in loan repayments will end in late August. RIP for people like me. Meanwhile, a GOP proposal to rescind the White House plan to waive $10,000 to $20,000 in debt for nearly all student borrowers not in the debt ceiling package. Let's read that again. A GOP proposal to rescind the White House's plan to waive $10,000 to $20,000 in debt for nearly all student borrowers is not in the debt ceiling package. Meaning it's still on the board, ladies and gentlemen. The conservative-dominated U.S. Supreme Court is due to rule next month on whether Biden has the power to waive the debt. Still on the table, ladies and gentlemen. What's left out? Don't care what's left out. Hey. the proposal's not that bad, in my personal opinion. I'm just saying. It's not that bad. I think it's pretty good. Especially since, I can still get my debt cleared. You feel me? Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Not bad at all.